Welcome to another episode of Mystics Spilling the Tea.
I'm Ashwani, Southern Fried Psychics.
I'm Leslie Hall, the Purple Rose Psychic.
And I'm Nickelle with Rising Digital.
And we are
The Mystics Spilling the Tea.
So today's topic, we're going to talk about mediumship. How, we have these séances, we do these open galleries, and no one really understands what it is we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I do mediumship for people all the time, and people still are like looking at me like, you're doing what? So let's talk about mediumship, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
So you want to go first? You want me to?
Sure.
What do you want?
Yeah, I'll talk about, because I teach this, you teach this. There's three types of mediums. And so there is what is a mental medium. That's me. There's a physical medium. That's Leslie. And then there's a trance medium, which was Whoopi Goldberg from the movie Ghost. When that spirit stepped into her body and basically took over, that is trance mediumship. I don't allow that because it's exhausting and I don't want any spirit entering my body. That's probably my shamanic training. And then physical mediumship, I just don't want to feel the physical because I feel for me, it drains me. So I like the mental mediumship, just giving the messages in my head, in my brain, in my ear, in my knowing, however is delivered mentally.
And I do it physically.
Yep.
I actually feel like I can feel the impact. It's not as painful or as heightened as it would be if I was doing it in real life, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But I can feel the pressure in my chest if it's a heart attack. I can feel things. And so, and then an impact, I can always feel that it was sudden. And, and I can always feel if my head starts hurting or my shoulder starts hurting where things, happened and everything. So that's really part of like who and what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but a lot of people still don't know what that means. They're like, what the heck does that still mean? So I'm going to go over like what I do when I'm doing mediumship and everything. So it is partly channeling for me and it's partly mediumship. And you're wondering, how does that work? Well, I don't really know. They just give me these things and I just go with it. But this is how this works for me. I usually can connect with a spirit or something else, because I've done aliens before and I've done some other things, and so it's always interesting because I don't know who's going to come forward for you. We can't just say I want to talk to so and so and work. It just doesn't work.
I love your example. You use that in when we do mediumship galleries or seances, open psychic galleries. So share with those who have not heard that example.
So I just tell them it's not the price is right. You can't call them on down. It's one of those things where you just really, you don't know. And what's interesting to me about it is it may not even be someone that you were really close with.
Mm-hmm.
It is a spirit that has a message, and it's a message for either you or someone you know, or it's somehow connected to you, but they give you a message. And it's always interesting to me because I see things, I hear things, but again, none of it is like reading a book. Whenever you're getting the information, it is bits and pieces. I always compare the pictures to be like the old reel-to-reels where they would flip and you get just a bit of a picture. So I get that. And the other thing is I get words and I get feelings and emotions. And so all of that I have to piece together.
Right.
To get who I'm talking to, what I'm talking about, and to get the message to the person. And it's always interesting because you would be surprised how much healing that does. If you've ever sat in one of our open galleries, inevitably there is somebody who had a misconception or a miscommunication when someone passed and has hurt emotions over it. And so when we do this, it's something really special. When you see someone who was crumpled into tears and like a child crumpled because they thought someone didn't love them.
Yeah.
And then you relay the message to them, and then they almost like it's almost you see them grow and embrace the message, and it actually gives them some healing and it gives them some answers.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one reason why I do it, because I like that. And a lot of people do need healing. A lot of people, you would be surprised how many people carry guilt.
Mm-hmm. Survivor's guilt.
And it's survivor's guilt, but it's other guilt of, oh, I should have been there more often for him. Oh, I should have done this for him more often. And so that guilt, it really allows that to kind of heal and be released too. And so that's another reason why I love it. So that's some of the things that I can do. It's different, and so people don't understand it. But it's also the reason why I feel like I can communicate with pets, because of that whole being able to feel the spirit and see the things and get the pictures and get the words. But again, it's charades.
Did you, I guess, like, was mediumship always part of your abilities? Because I know that, like, the past life. Okay,
No.
so when did that part start?
So it was interesting. Because unlike you, who grew up seeing dead people, I don't recall. I mean, it was weird because like the gifts that I had when I was younger were different. Right. And then I think also because I didn't develop them, they were different. So when I decided to do this, because they were telling me I had to do this to help other people, I jumped into the pool. I just jumped right in. It was, it was full force. Okay, you want me to do this? Done. I'm jumping in, but give me the information quickly. I really didn't know what I was asking for.
Can of worms.
But you were confident about it.
I was confident. I'm jumping in the pool, so you better give me everything. And so, so it wasn't, like as soon as I jumped in the pool with actually practicing tarot and intuitive readings and actually feeling things, it was then that they started doing more. And I was like, oh, okay. Now, it's kind of funny because it could have been there, but I wasn't interpreting it. Does that make sense? It could have been there the whole time.
Yeah.
But I wasn't interpreting it because that wasn't on my radar to interpret. So, because now that I think about it and I say that, have I always had like flashes of things and everything? Yeah, but I wasn't doing anything with them.
Right.
So when it came to mediumship, it just fell in. It was like, I'll never forget my first class was, she held up a picture, the instructor did. She held up a picture and I was like, I'm getting it's a father figure, but it's distant. Okay, because her father lived in Germany while she was living here. So it was kind of like there was a distance. Plus, her parents had got divorced, but I got a lot of hits off of that. The one thing that she could not confirm for me, and it was really weird because this was in black and white. Some of the stuff I see in color and some I see in black and white.
Same for me.
And I'm not really sure if the black and white is because it's so gray that that person won't be able to acknowledge it, or if it's just a gray area because it was so old. Not really sure. But one of the things I got was her dad did soapbox derbies, those from Cub Scouts and everything.
I love those.
And I got that. And so clearly it would have been way before her time because it was her father and it was when he was a child. So that was in black and white. But so the very first class things were coming. So clearly I had it. I just wasn't using it or dealing with it.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I think a lot of people do is they don't use their gifts.
Yeah.
They have,
Right.
If you hear Pixie
drinking water,
it's okay. It's just Pixie
wasn't
drinking
me.
water. It wasn't us lapping up the water.
Oh, come on now. No.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things you don't know that you're using until it comes.
Yeah.
I think that's with a lot of people with their current gifts. when I'm talking to people and they're like, yeah, I've always had a knowing. Okay, what are you doing with it?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's the reason why I think that that's a lot of things that happen is people don't use it. It may still be there. And like I said, as soon as I jumped in and as soon as I started, they was like, I was like,
Mhm.
oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that makes sense.
Right.
So,
Mhm.
yeah, it's an interesting thing as you journey on your metaphysical way. You
Because
never know.
it was like that, and then the past life
the
stuff.
past life came in like I was doing.
So it was like separate times.
Yeah. Like,
Which is
yeah.
just so interesting.
Well,
to me.
usually when you go through like upgrades,
Yeah.
so all of us, especially as practicing psychics, mystics, mediums, channelers, everything that we do, we do have to challenge ourselves. We have to grow as well. And in doing that, a lot of times when my noticing has been when I collaborate with other people, my abilities grow tenfold. And so sometimes new development, I mean, I didn't always do light language, but my Aunt Patricia activated me. And then aligning with more light language type people, that it just becomes a little stronger, a little better, a little, that sort of thing. So I talk about this in this weekend for I'm teaching a 0 to psychic class. And in that class, I talk about the difference between mediumship and channeling. And I think that's important because that's probably one of the number one questions I get. Well, what's the difference? And I want to talk a little bit about that as far as we talked about the 3 different types of mediums. Now, channeling, you're just wide open, meaning you've taken the blinders off and you're able to channel anything as long as it's for your highest good. You always want to be specific and careful about what you're channeling. So I usually tell people it's like, think of it as a conduit. So with mediumship, you're just putting channeling blinders on to be specific and focus on things, not things, but people or pets that have crossed over. Versus channeling, you might be channeling aliens. So when you're in your mediumship and you got an alien, now you've crossed over to channeling.
Yeah.
So that's really the only difference is one is a very specific lens that you're looking through, whereas the other one, it's wide open. There's no cap.
Whoa.
Yeah, when the first time I did that, okay, it was a little odd. I'm not going to lie, when the first alien came through, and that was
Yeah.
probably a
That's
year and
like
a half
one
ago.
of my favorite stories. Of
a
yours.
2 years ago. Because here's a man sitting in front of me,
See, what happened was,
Yep.
and I didn't know him,
Right.
but he wanted me to do mediumship, and I had done it for his friend and got his sister. Everything was normal there.
Normal. Yep.
Everything was normal
Just-
there.
Yeah.
But whenever I got to him, I was like, I have. And the funniest part was I didn't really want to tell this man because I don't charge people for their readings until the end.
I don't either.
Because what if they don't like it?
Right.
I don't have to refund their money. You can just move on down the road.
Yep.
Right.
But so I'm thinking, do I tell him I have an alien or do I not? Because I'm thinking this man's going to get up and walk away. So I'm like, oh, what the hell?
Yeah.
What the hell? Just do it. So I go, so I have an alien here for you. And his response was, is it green or blue?
I love it.
I know.
And I was like, well, it happens to be green. Well, what does it look like? And I described how it looked like. And he was like, oh, that's a blah, 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 blah. And I'm like,
Okay.
yeah, okay, well, see, let me help you here.
Yes.
I don't really know this alien thing.
Right.
I'm like, I've never done this before. And he was like, you're doing great. Just
Yep.
keep going.
Keep going. Yes.
And I'm like, well, okay. And so I went on and I got the information that the alien wanted him to know. And basically it was to teach classes, but it wasn't just to teach the class. It was to actually put his hand on people's shoulders. And the reason why was, they kept showing me it would open something here, something here.
yeah.
And he was like, that's the lotus flower. Okay, there you go. Yeah, that's what they're telling you. Go for it, man. And so he then told me that he had written several books on Galactica healing. And I was like, okay,
Awesome.
well, now all this makes sense.
Yeah.
But
all the dots.
you can
connect.
tell when you're not used to something like that coming through that you're like kind of like, do I tell anyone or do I keep it to myself? But the one thing I have learned is if I don't say what they show me, I always regret it.
Right.
Because there's something that's really meant to tie everything together. And I can tell you there's been times that I haven't said something because I'm like, oh no, that's got to be wrong.
Yep.
And lo and behold, like we were talking afterwards and I mentioned it and they're like, oh yeah, that was right. And you're like, oh man.
Should have said it.
I should have said it. But you don't know because you're always on this line. You're always on this line. At least I'm always on this line. You may not be, but I'm always on this line.
What's the
The
line?
line of like, is it my ego or
Right.
is it real? You know,
Yes,
it's one of those lines because I don't want to put my ego into the reading
Right.
at all. And so that's the reason why there's always a line for me of like balancing. Is it my imagination? Is it what happening? Is it my ego? Is it what they're telling me? So that's kind of a line that's hard for me to balance sometimes.
Yeah,
But
makes sense.
but it's funny because he came back a year later and I read for him again. And this time I'm like, oh, great. Now you have two aliens here. You have a green one and a blue one.
Yes.
And they were arguing.
Oh my gosh.
And then there was
I
some,
don't remember this.
yeah, the aliens were arguing because he had written another book. He included both of them. But the blue one felt underappreciated and
Yes.
Oh my
under-given
gosh.
credit
Oh
for.
my
And so it was
They're
pretty
just
darn
like us.
funny. And he was like, well, yes, actually, the blue one is like not mentioned as much. And I'm like, yeah, they're not liking that. He's not liking that. The green one didn't really care. The green was like, yes, that's the way it should be. But and so it was really interesting because, and then they said something. And I was like, I don't. I go, this one just said something. I have no idea what it was, but it was like, and
That's
he was
light
like,
language.
he goes,
Yeah.
that's what he said. He said, just tell him to talk in English.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, just talk to me in English. And so they did, but it was alien talk to
Yep.
each other. And I
Yep.
mean, so it was interesting, but
Yeah.
you never know what's going to come. So you just tell them. And but it is hard because nobody wants to be wrong.
No.
Right.
True.
I mean, it's like one of those things like no one wants to
Yeah.
be wrong about when I'm telling you and everything. So
Right.
that's the reason why to me it's hard. I balance. I don't know about you. I don't know if you just go in and you're just balls to the wall, going to do it no matter what. I don't know.
I mean, pretty much, because aliens are not new for me. When I started seeing dead people, I think I probably saw dead people first, I think, because it's just been an ability that I think I've kind of just took for granted. I've just always been able to do it. But I was Haley Joel Osment, from Sixth Sense. I was that kid. I see dead people, talk to dead people, have a tea party, whatever it was. I didn't have imaginary friends. I had celestial friends. So they were either dead or aliens. And so I've done a lot of alien stuff as far as like, I've had past life readings. People are like, oh, you've been a Palladian, Arcturian. I'm like, yep. Everything just made sense because it felt right. Like pull to Egyptians. I mean, like Egyptians worked with Lyrans. They worked Palladians, Arcturians. They didn't build those pyramids with just man hours. They were like stone here, move, and they used their finger. The Celestials used their finger and move the stone with just their finger.
Yeah, it's always amazing to me. I look at I-35 and think they built pyramids in less time
Yes, I know, right?
than I-35.
That's because they were working with aliens.
Okay, well,
L-35, they don't.
that makes more sense because I always thought, look at what they did in such a short period of time whenever we can't get the freeways built
Right.
in a timely manner, which is amazing to me
Yes, it is.
because we have
Almost
all this
seems
new
purposeful.
equipment. Yeah, it does. Sometimes it does.
I know, right? You're
It
like,
does. Come on, man. Especially when Whitney was in Texas A&M because you're driving 35 all the time and you're like, oh my
yeah.
gosh, they're never going to finish this. And then they finish a section and you're like,
And then they're like,
"Yay."
we're
And
starting
then-
over.
And then it's the next part. You're like, oh, because I came through Waco today
Oh, yeah.
and, down to the 2 lanes on one little part again on both sides. And of course, at bottleneck because it's spring break. Everyone's coming back from
Yep.
spring break. And so it was a little frustrating, but it always amazes me that the things that could be built in such a short period of time with not as much technology or manpower as we have now, and we can't get some things done.
Right.
It's kind of amusing a little bit.
It's definitely amusing.
Okay, it's definitely amusing.
For
so
sure.
it's one of those things. But yeah,
But we've got some events coming up for doing more mediumship. So
Yes, we do.
with our galleries, we have this new place. Do you want to talk about Jack's place?
yeah. So first, I want to talk about Jack's place because we came. There's a person who's reached out to us. His name's Jack, and he runs the Vintage Market in
Arlington.
Arlington on Lamar Street. And if you haven't been there, it's a neat place because there's a lot of eclectic things, but there's also an oddities room. I know some people are like, "What is an oddities?" Okay, I didn't know what it was, so I'm just going to let y'all know what an oddities room is.
Yeah, what is it?
It is odd.
Okay.
It's odd
Yep.
stuff, like maybe two-headed baby dolls.
Okay.
Okay, oddities.
Yep.
Okay.
The
There
one
it
that
is.
makes you go,
Oh,
that screams
screaming,
ventriloquist, evil, Chucky type vibe.
I was thinking
Yeah.
like weird circus.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it also reminds me of American
Yes.
Horror
Horror
story.
horror
story.
stories.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
like that's what
100%.
it reminds me of.
Yeah.
Yep.
But, and they also had some little coffins, and it was
That was
weird.
blowing my mind.
They weren't for like they weren't for humans.
No.
Okay.
They were
oh, like
but they weren't for babies either.
like a fairy.
There you go. Sure.
It could be a fairy, but it also feels like it could have been like for ashes and to be
Oh.
put into like a little coffin like thing. And they had one from the 1940s. They had
Wow.
one coffin. It was interesting. But anyway, so they have some different things there. But they also have some eclectic things. They had a booth where this woman has some really neat things, which there is a vest there that is calling my name. I'll have to go back and get it. It was a leather vest trimmed in cheetah print.
What?
Ah, look
I
at that.
know.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
gosh.
man,
You
I
got a
need
pair of
that
boots to go with
vest.
that.
I got to get that.
Put a
So
purple
anyway,
rose on it and
Jack has
There we go.
Jack has a lot of vendors in his little shop and everything. And on the 25th of April, he is going to be doing a parking lot sale. And so they'll bring out a lot of things and they're going to have a big sale. Ashwani and I are going to be doing readings all day there. And then in the evening, we're going to move some of the stuff around and we're actually going to do a seance or open gallery there
In the esoteric room.
in the esoteric room.
cool.
Yeah, he's got this set up really cool. There's different rooms, and it's really cool because there's one vendor. I don't know if you walked through all the rooms, but
Oh, I
there's
did,
one
yeah.
vendor that I don't know what she's spraying or has little potpourri things all over the place, but that room smells just divine. It's so good.
Ooh.
So at any rate, but they have all kinds of things, and it's worth going and checking out. And it's definitely worth coming to our seance that night because it's a new place and we really want to promote it. And
There's already spirits there.
there are already spirits there. I was walking around. I'm like, hey, did you know there's a male spirit here? I can
Oh my
feel him.
gosh,
It's
I
so
love it.
yeah. And he was like, is he good? Is he bad? I'm like, he's good. And so that's really kind of cool. Plus the fact there's so much stuff there that some of it is vintage and some of it is just some different things. You'll find beautiful cutting boards, cheese boards. I mean, just some amazing
You
stuff
found a
there.
beautiful bracelet.
I did find a beautiful bracelet. And just FYI, I have looked this bracelet up. And I'm not going to tell y'all what I paid for it, but I will tell you I paid a lot less than what it is on Posh Market because on Posh Market it's over $400.
Oh, wow. It looks amazing.
It does.
I love the gold, but I've been changing to a lot of gold frequency, but I love how it stands out.
Yeah. So I just love it. And I mean, I could hardly wait to put it on. Like as soon as I got in the parking lot, I took it
didn't
out of my
leave.
purse.
Yeah.
She had it on.
I'm
Yeah.
like, I put it on before I started my car.
I like it.
I was like, I have to have that. And it was really nice. But it was not over $400. And so you can find some incredible buys. Even that leather vest I was looking at was only $35.
Dang.
Oh, that's pretty good for a leather vest.
And it's a leather vest. And they have other vests and other jackets that are like real leather and they're nice. And so you should go check it out. Like I said, there's all kinds of things. There's dishes. If you like your old Pyrex dishes, they have some of those.
There's a whole 80s booth.
Yes.
And so it's VHS tapes, and it's what she's talking about. There's a Slinky, Rubik's Cube, you name it. A whole
there's some
80s
old
booth.
toys too.
Slinky.
So
I know, right?
you should go check it out. And there's also some consignment things, some nice furniture
Yes.
and some things like that. But their parking lot sale is going to be, I think, from 9 to 4.
Yes, correct.
And then we'll be inside the building. So go to the parking lot sale, get hot, come on in for a reading. We'll cool you down.
Yep.
And then stay for the seance. But the seance, I think we're doing at 6 o'clock.
Probably.
I
We're
think
still hammering out those details because we
still- yeah.
just picked the date.
But you'll be able to find it in a lot of places. But we're having that one, and that one's a really big one. That
And he's
we're
going to do
doing.
a food truck with that too.
Nice.
Yes,
So that'll be a lot of fun.
So it's going to be a lot of
pretty
fun.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's a part of Arlington that it's gone through changes and things. It's gone down, it's gone up, it's gone down. It's just in the rebuilding right now, and so he's there trying to rebuild it and everything on his shop and everything. And I think it's really cool.
What's the cross street?
It's
and-
Lamar and
30?
it's
Cooper?
Green Oaks.
Oh.
Okay.
Green Oaks behind the Jack in the Box.
Don't get
Yeah.
me to lying. I don't
Yeah.
know that area.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's Green Oaks.
GPS, get me there.
Oh no! Wait, I took Green Oaks and I turned left on Lamar. No, it's on Lamar. I don't know what it is. It's
Anyway.
behind the Jack in the Box. Fielder maybe. It's Fielder maybe.
Okay.
That's where Jack in
Yeah,
the
that's
Box
where
is.
Jack in the Box
Yeah,
is.
it's
Okay.
Fielder. Fielder
It's
and
right
Lamar.
next to a Dollar Tree.
Yeah,
Okay.
Dollar General. Yeah.
Something like that.
So, so come see us then. We're also doing some other fairs this weekend or this month. We're also doing a seance at Embody Crystals
One of our favorite places
on
we
Saturday
love.
the 4th. We always love to do one there for several reasons. One, Courtney has her gong that she will bring in spirits, and she has this amazing
Crystal Portal.
amethyst crystal portal that is
yeah.
just phenomenal. And so it's always fun to have one there because the mood is just right and everything. And we love that. And then we're also doing one. So we're doing Jack's on the 25th, which is the vintage market. And then on the 24th, the day before, we're doing one at Miracles of Joy in Louisville.
Oh,
And
no, Miracles Within.
Miracles Within,
Yeah.
right, because they changed the name.
Owners.
They changed owners and they changed the name. That one's always interesting too because we have a lot of candles, we have a lot of atmosphere to really bring it in and everything. And we've had some amazing ones there. We've had a large group of people, but that
Yeah.
one's always good because we bring in another psychic on that one. We bring in Stacy Bosley. So there's 3 of us. So again, just intensifies the messages and everything. And so that one is on the 24th and it's from 6 to 8. So
Yeah.
there's 3 opportunities in the month of April for mediumship galleries if you don't want to do a one-on-one. And just so you know, on these open galleries, they're pretty quick on the messages. I mean, it's not, we don't go into a lot of depth with you because we try to make sure everyone gets a reading. That's the
Yep.
reason why we keep it small. Because it's a lot of work to connect to these people. I want to let you know. It's not like you just, it's not, you don't get an index card that says,
No.
this is all about them. It's like you get like messages, like all of a sudden I'll say, okay, I have someone here that's between 28 and 35. And then you kind of wait to see if someone says anything. And then you're like, okay, and it's a male. And so this is how it comes. It's like little bits, and you just keep putting the bits out there till someone says, oh, that's my brother, or that's my sister, or my whatever. And so that's how it works. And
Putting a puzzle together.
it is putting a puzzle together. It's putting charades together. And the audience is the biggest part of that because I don't know who this person is here for most of the time.
We just want to deliver the messages.
Yeah.
That's why we need your confirmation or your feedback because it's like, shooting in the blind, shooting dark, kind of thing. So, and every single circle or seance or gallery that we have, there's always at least one skeptic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's always one skeptic.
Except for
There's
that one where we had like 5.
yeah, we've had 5 skeptics. But the interesting thing is like when you're talking to him, like Stacy was like, I see this man in blue. Why is he in blue? And she was like, no. And I finally was like, I see him in a uniform. Oh, yes, he was in the Coast Guard. Okay, that could be it then. There's the blue and there's the uniform. But we have to go through the whole thing sometimes. And some people who are skeptical, it does make them take a little while longer to kind of go, oh.
Open.
Yeah, and I mean, and I don't know why you would come if you don't believe, because that seems like you're just wasting your time and money. But okay, come on in, and because I get paid whether you believe it or not.
Yeah.
Right.
And we only charge $44 per person.
Yes.
So you get 3 psychics if you come to the one at Miracles Within for the price of 1. And then when we
Yeah.
partner, it's just Leslie and I, you still get 2 psychics for the price of 1. Because we
Yeah.
charge way more for that for a one-on-one.
Yeah, for a one-on-one, it's like I charge a lot more. It's
Yeah.
$180 an hour.
Because mediumship is actually, I know you can agree to this, is actually one of the hardest out of all the psychic abilities, because you're that empty vessel for spirit to come through. Then you have to work with whoever that message is for, but then they have to claim it. You name it, claim it, all that stuff. So it's a lot harder. It takes more from us to do that.
So it's a lot. It's a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, y'all know what time it is.
Timekeeper.
Time to keep going.
Time to keep not going. We hope that you can come to one of the galleries or the open galleries or the seances. Nickelle can tell you they're always interesting.
Always.
And it's always amazing how you walk away knowing that you helped someone. So in wrapping this up, any parting thoughts? Anyone want to go first?
I just say, just come with an open mind, because we've all lost someone and we never know who's coming through, but we spend our lives dedicated to being that bridge, that gap, to hopefully bring you some peace, bring you some healing, bring you some connection with those that you loved, whether it's human or it's feline, fur, whoever it may be.
How about you, Nickelle? You have anything?
No, similar. Just, come with an open mind, and I guarantee you'll leave with something.
Yeah, that's one of the things we will try to make sure everyone leaves with a piece of something.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be a complete story, but it will at least give you something, and hopefully you'll feel some kind of relief and some kind of happiness when you leave, because we always like to leave you better than when we found you.
Yep.
So this is another episode of Mystic Spilling the Tea.
I'm Ashwani, Southern Fried Psychics.
I'm Leslie Hall, the Purple Rose Psychic, and you can find me on my Facebook, Leslie Hall, the Purple Rose Psychic.
I forget every time.
I know. Ashwani is southernfriedpsychics.com.
Thanks, Nickelle.
I got to come in at the end there. This is Nickelle, and you can find me on risingdigitalstudio.com.
And we are
The Mystics Spilling the Tea.